Yo, so let's talk about the Bucks versus the Heat, man. I'm pretty sure the Bucks are about to beat the Magic in 5 games. I'm recording before that happens, but I think this is one of the more anticipated playoff series we've been waiting for during the season, because I think a lot of people think the Heat are going to beat the Bucks. And do I think the Heat are going to beat the Bucks? I mean, stay tuned to find out. Let's get into it. So as we all know, a lot of people are talking about the Heat having a blueprint for Giannis. The game in early March where, Giannis really struggled against the Heat. They built a wall around him. Bam is being called the Giannis stopper, and the Heat are amazing. Everyone loves the Heat, and people don't like Giannis. And do I think the Heat have the blueprint to beat the Bucks? Yeah, I think they do. Not to the degree of the Raptors, even though Kawhi Leonard left, but I do still think the Heat have a good enough blueprint to stop Giannis in order to win this series. Let's start off there. Bam will be on Giannis most of the time. Let's just say it right now. That's going to be a real great matchup. That's the key matchup to watch out for. But the thing is, the Heat have other guys that can be on Giannis as well, not just Bam the entire time. In case Bam gets in foul trouble, or you just want to switch the matchup to give Giannis different looks, you can put Jimmy Butler on Giannis. You could put Jay Crowder on Giannis. You could put Andre Iguodala on Giannis. You could put even Derrick Jones Jr. at times on Giannis. I don't really advise that one, but I mean, you just want to give Giannis different looks as much as possible, right? He's going to see 3 guys in the paint waiting for him. He's going to have 4 eyes on him, at all times. And what does that leave open? That leaves the shooters open for the most part, and we all know Giannis is a pretty good passer, especially for his size. He's a great passer, but these guys are going to be open. Middleton and Bledsoe are going to be open. Pat Connaughton is going to be open. Dante DiVincenzo is going to be open, and these guys have to hit their shots, man. This is the key point here. If the Bucks, others cannot hit their shots, the Bucks can't win this series. Plain and simple. And I think it starts with Eric Bledsoe, because I know Middleton has been the one to really struggle in the Orlando series, and Bledsoe's really been the one to struggle in the playoffs in general, He hasn't proved that he's a really good playoff performer. His stats just drop dramatically once he enters the postseason. Bledsoe can go off the dribble. Bledsoe can create for himself and for others. So he has to be that guy to relieve Giannis, to take some pressure off of Giannis, and to make plays for other guys as well. Like I said, these guys will have to hit their shots. Especially that we all know Miami's defense is good, but they do have some problems on the perimeter with perimeter defense. I think Bledsoe can expose Dragic, Hero, Kendrick Nunn, Duncan Robinson. My question about the Heat guarding Giannis is, will they pick him up half court or not? That's what the Raptors did a lot of the time. They had Giannis really be guarded by Kawhi right at half court, just so he doesn't get head of steam. He doesn't get all the way to the rim in 2 steps from half court. You know what Giannis likes to do. Will the Heat do that, or will they just stand at the 3-point line, and as he creeps up, they drop back a little bit and force Giannis to shoot a 3-ball, or do they just pick him up half court or even full court? Another thing about the Bucks offense is that late in games, in the half court offense, when the game slows down, it tends to get real hard for the Bucks to score. That's why they have the #1 pace in the league. They like to go fast because that's their bread and butter. But when it gets in a half court set, when it's a 4th quarter, last 3 minutes, tight game, the Bucks, as we've seen before, tend to struggle in those type of situations, especially Giannis. So my question is, can the Bucks continue to play fast as much as possible? And even when the game slows down, do the Bucks have a couple of sets that they can rely on, that they can go to, that they know will work, and that can just really help them a lot in this half-court offense, because it's really going to help them. Now on the flip side of things, my question is for the Bucks, will they change up their defense just a tad bit in order to contain the 3-ball a bit more? Because as we know, the Heat are 2nd in 3-point percentage in the NBA. And these guys are hot right now. Duncan Robinson's hot right now. Dragic is hot right now. Tyler Hero is hot right now. So what will the Bucks do to adjust to this 3-point shooting barrage of Miami? We know the Bucks like to pack the paint and are willing to give up the 3. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure Miami's going to expose that, or at least try to. And that's really going to have to force the Bucks to change. But it's so hard to guard Miami, man. They like to get in the paint as well. They're a great 3-point shooting team, but they also like getting cuts off of those 3-point looks, off of those flare screens. They like to drive to the rim, Tyler Hero, you wouldn't think as a driver, but he can pull up a 15 mid-range, I know he struggles at the rim, but he's not scared to drive the ball into there. All that being said, I think Jimmy Butler's still going to need to be that guy. that scores 25 plus in this series and goes toe-to-toe with Giannis. I think it's that simple. The Miami Heat are going to go on some dry spells. I think the Bucks will go on some dry spells too, but I think Giannis will get his, and Jimmy Butler got to be able to get his as well. And I know in the playoffs, Jimmy Butler tends to step up his game. He tends to be more aggressive offensively, scoring the ball. In the regular season, he tends to get his teammates involved. You know, he doesn't really look to score as much, you know, but in the playoffs, Jimmy is more than capable of taking over a game offensively. With him scoring the ball, he can get to the free throw line 11 times a game, you know. He steps up his three-point percentage in the playoffs, so you got to start guarding him from three, you know. He doesn't hit a three in the regular season, but in the postseason, he just turns it up another notch, man, and that's how bad Jimmy wants to win, man. So I think he has to be that guy to match Giannis. And like I was talking about with the Bucks, how they tend to bog down in the fourth quarters, especially like in tight games, as the game really slows down. I think Miami really thrives in that environment, and that's really concerning for the Bucks. Dragic in the Indiana series, as you saw in the fourth quarter, every fourth quarter, Dragic took over. Dragic killed the Pacers in the fourth quarter, you know what I mean? Those games it was a sweep, but those games were pretty close, you know? And Dragic just couldn't be stopped by the Pacers. So that is going to be a big thing to watch, is the fourth quarters when these games are tight, and they will be tight. Who will step up? Which team can execute? As we know, Miami thrives in the half-court offense. They love to slow the game down and run some nice little sets, nice little flare screens for Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson, nice little pin downs, and have guys cutting off of that. So the Heat thrive in that situation. I just want to see if the Bucks can match that. If not, just play at least better than what they have been playing in crunch time minutes. And with that being said, man, me thinking the Heat will still be hot from three-point land with Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson and Goran Dragic and Crowder and potentially even Kendrick Nunn. I'm afraid the Bucks won't adjust and the Heat will get whatever they want. The wall around Giannis will be too much for him to handle, I think. I think he'll have a pretty good series, but a lot of the times when they need him most, in the fourth quarter, when the games slow down, I think Giannis will be absolutely exposed. They're going to build that wall with Bam. They're going to have Jimmy Butler waiting. They're going to have Jay Crowder waiting. And I don't really trust the Bucks' other guys too much, you know. Bledsoe, I don't trust too much. I think Middleton will show up in this series, but Bledsoe, the verdict's still out on him. Pat Connaughton, Wesley Matthews, Dante DiVincenzo, Brook Lopez, he's been struggling from three. I don't know if they'll be able to get the job done, you know. And Heat in clutch time, you know, game on the line. Who do you trust more, Heat or Bucks? I trust the Heat more. I trust Heat way more, you know. And I trust Eric Spoelstra to outcoach Bud, you know. So with that being said, I'll go with the Heat in 7 games. This will be a great series, no doubt about it, man. But the Heat will shock the world here, get to the conference finals, and this will just absolutely expose Giannis on what he needs to work on. You know, he's got everything else. Now he needs a three-point game, at least go-to three-point game, and at least a post game he can go to every now and then. You know what I mean? I'm not saying Giannis needs to shoot 40% from three, but if he increases it to 32, 33% from three, you know, that's all he needs. And if he can get a post game, get a hook shot in there, get some more fundamentals down low, you know what I mean? Giannis is strong enough to push around most defenders, so if he can get that going, guess what? Teams are going to start doubling him in the post, and guys are going to be wide open once again, you know? Let me know what y'all think about the series, who wins, and how many games, and why. And with that being said, man, this is Jimmy from Just the Facts, and I'm signing out. Peace.